How are you, everyone? I know that you can't answer me, but just send me some positive love and energy and vibes. I'm very empathic. I'm sure that I will feel it virtually, even through this new and exciting platform, which I know is a big comfort zone pusher for some of us. You know, teachers are having to go online. The whole world is going online, and I'm incredibly grateful, without bragging in any way, but our company has been remote and virtual for the past 10 years. So I'm really, really grateful that my main mission can be one of service and communicating these skills, rather than having that hurdle around what will my online business look like, or how do I use Zoom. So, you know, with those more simple things, if you guys know anyone that wants support with that, please just let us know, because it is out of a lot of people's comfort zone at the moment. Anyway, coming to my presentation, I am the queen of relationships on this call. I am a soulmate coach, and what that's code for is a self-love coach. People sometimes hear me being a soulmate coach and they think that means that you're going to go out and, you know, deal with other people. And of course you will. I do have an extensive background, years and years, decades and decades experience in mindset, in relationships, and I briefly did do a bit of matchmaking. So finding your soulmate is not unlikely when you work with me. But where that all comes from is really self-love and personal development. And what I want to talk to you about today when it comes to relationships is resilience and relationships. Matt, Denise, the speakers you've heard from so far, Michael, the speaker that's going to be coming up shortly, these are my mentors, these are my tribe, these are my team. And so I'm just so proud to be running this seminar with them and owning the relationship space within that. I mean, when I started my business over 15 years ago, in the coaching space, I was winging it. I was doing it the live way. I was kind of guessing as I went. And it was when I met Matt and he became my mentor that he really supported me to do the stuff that he's just shared with you to come online. Denise, when I have had the common cold, this woman's tonics, they literally will take a common cold that would normally take a week or two, and it reduces it to like a 24-hour thing. And you actually feel better at the end of that 24 hours because you've been on all of her herbs. She's amazing. And Michael is a very dear friend and mentor of mine coming up, and he's all about inner peace. And really, you know, this guy has done fasting and meditation from days on end. He really has command of the mind and consciousness on a level that I've never met anyone else that's as amazing as him. So it's such an amazing tribe of people we're learning from. And coming back to my topic, which is relationships and resilience, what my superpower is, and what I really feel I can bring to this call to help serve and transmute love and light, is my tools around resilience. Resilience is such an important skill to have. And I'm going to link it to my story. My story is about my mum, and you can go to the next slide there, Em. We've got the beautiful Emma working away in the background, trying to keep up with us crazy speakers with the AV. Thank you, Em. This is my beautiful mum, and she's got a halo around her looking like an angel, because she is and was an angel. And it was the closest thing to Mother Teresa that I've ever met. I actually grew up quite poor. Not poor when it comes to love. I have the most incredible family and am very blessed and incredibly rich when it comes to relationships. But when it came to financial resources and all of those kind of things, I grew up on Centrelink and in Housing Commission, and with a single mum who, while she was the most beautiful human being I've ever met to this day, it was tough. Sometimes it was tough to put food on the table. And that was the biggest blessing that I ever could have inherited. While she was busy saying, I wish I could give you, you know, a father figure and money and a house and all of those things, my soul was receiving something far greater than any of that. And that was the gift of being given the gift of having nothing, meaning that I had to really take charge of my own life and realize nothing was going to be handed on a silver platter. And it was going to be my job to upskill myself, learn the lessons, do the work, and do whatever it took to make my life look the way I wanted it to look this lifetime. And so growing up poor, I thought that was the biggest trauma that I'd ever been through. And in my early days in personal development, I would talk about that as my main pain point. And of course, I've turned my pain into my superpower, or my pain into my power. But I actually got an even greater learning when I was on the journey of personal development. And that's when my beautiful mum, this beautiful woman that you see in the photo, had an episode and really struggled with some emotional health issues. And as a result, ended her own life. Now, we'll bring up the other photo as well, just in case you're wondering what that blank space is. And speaking of blank spaces, this did leave a huge blank space in my life and in my heart. You know, she was my best friend, and this little girl was my little sister, or is my little sister, who I actually adopted on the day that we got that news. She was 11 at the time, my little sister, and I took her under my wing, and I really realized that this universe and this life had some really, really big and powerful, painful in the beginning, lessons for me in store. And I kind of see myself as a cat. This story that I'm telling you is the big one. It's the biggest, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. I don't have long enough now on this call, but for those of you that ever do further stuff with me, hopefully I'll get a chance to share the other learnings that I've got, but this is the one I'm going to focus on. It taught me so much, and I did make it through it because I'm like a cat. I land on my feet. I've got 9 lives or more. I think I'm up to about 900 by now. And that comes down to resilience. Now, I did some soul searching, and I sort of thought, how did I grow up poor? How did I go through that with mum? And how does my life look like the life on my vision board right now, which it absolutely does. And by the way, for those of you that have vision boards at the moment, which is basically a collage of your 10 out of 10 dream life, approximately 7 years from when you created it, I created that vision board. I've done it a couple of times this lifetime, and I achieve 100% of it every single time. And it's interesting, I've got it in the corner of my studio that I'm in now, and I look at it and all of the goals are taking on different meaning. I've got a big picture of a globe, which a month ago meant I want to be an international coach and speaker, and I'm already doing that. But now I look at that globe and I realize that my mission is far greater. It's to transmute love, light, and healing through the world, and especially in times of crisis, and actually have the crisis be the opportunity that creates that. Because times like this, all of our shit comes up. That's the technical term. All of our wounds come up. And if we unpack and live there, it can be a very problematic time. But if we use this as an opportunity to heal those wounds, they're actually coming to the surface with more intensity than ever before. And the opportunity to heal is greater than ever before. Now, when I thought about how I have gone through that, being poor, mum's suicide, a whole bunch of other stuff, and how I can hand on heart say that I'm a really incredibly happy and successful person, the answer is this. It's the ABCs. I wanted to keep it simple. We've got enough stress at the moment. Simple is best. So the ABCs of resilience that I would love you guys to take a screenshot, or please write this down and definitely listen with your hearts and souls, because this is how I've done it. And yes, I've layered in, 15 years of experience and a million different qualifications, from hypnotherapy to relationship coaching, timeline therapy, rapid change, all of that stuff. But, as a coach, I'm highly qualified, but as a human being, I get it. I get what it feels like to be at rock bottom, to have the rug ripped from underneath you, and to have the option of either breaking down or breaking through. And the answer is resilience. So these are the techniques from my professional advice, but also from just my human to human advice and what I've personally done. So we'll bring them up, please, Em. So the ABCs, number 1 is attitude. Number 2 is behavioral flexibility. And number 3 is community. With attitude, I want to summarize this. I run 6-day trainings on this topic, and I know we're limited for time, and I promised you this would be a cornetto. Please just remember this. Life happens for you, not to you. When you think life happens to you, oh, this crisis is happening to me, struggles with rent are happening to me, the mortgage being a nightmare is happening to me, then you're a victim. When you adopt the belief and the attitude, and it's a decision that's available to any of us, that life happens for me, everything is an opportunity for learning. Either we get what we want or we get a learning. Then we're free, we're positive, and we're a victor rather than a victim. Let's go to the next one, and I'll unpack that a bit in a minute. Next one is, I meant the next point. I'm confusing you for Emma. Behavioral flexibility. Thanks for your behavioral flexibility there, Emma, by the way. Behavioral flexibility means you're like a cat that's landed on its feet, and that cat is almost ready to catch a ball. Imagine if you were standing nimble on your toes, ready to catch a ball that was thrown at you by the universe, by the community, by Corona, by whatever. And at any point, you are so present and so behaviorally flexible that you're on your toes in present time, ready to go and catch that ball with an attitude of, how is this happening for me rather than to me? And my behavioral flexibility led me to personal development. When I realized that if I kept going down the path that I was on in the, demographic of the community I grew up in, I was probably going to be poor on Centrelink and Housing Commission too. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing but gratitude for how I grew up. However, my vision board did look different to that. So I had the flexibility to upskill myself around education, mentors, getting jobs, getting out there, getting life experience. And I gave myself so much education, which really helped me to create excellence around my skills, my results, my attitude. And that has been the best thing I've ever done, which has translated into everything that I had as a goal. So the final one is C, which is community. At the moment, there's a lot of focus on things like health. How do I get my health to a 10 out of 10? Income, how do I get my income to a 10 out of 10? But there's a major blind spot that I really want to draw to your attention, and that is community and relationships. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So at the moment, if your circle of influence are people that are panicking, in fear, in anxiety, first of all, my heart goes out to them, and please connect them with us so that we can at least send them a recording of this or help them and serve them in some way. Because when anxiety is increased, intelligence is decreased. And if you're anxious, you're probably not going to do the things you already know you need to do, like apply for grants, start an online business, improve your health, but you're not even going to do the things that you don't know that you need to do yet, which are be resourceful, be creative. And you need a tribe of people that are 5 levels above you and getting the kind of results that you want when it comes to their health, their business, their mindset, their relationships. And that's what this call is about. It's about bringing together a tribe of mentors, because we all have our personal network. We all have our business network, but you really need to see networks as an absolutely critical tool through these times, because the bigger your network, the more powerful and positive your network, the more you are going to survive, thrive, and shine through these times. Because in the worst case scenario, you're all going to hold hands and help each other, whether it's sharing resources, learnings, contacts, advice. And in the best case scenario, you're all going to help each other, whether it's sharing your new online business or sharing tools like this webinar so that we can get out of the panic and get onto positivity. But your network really is your net worth at the moment. Now, I know that I'm almost out of time, so I've just got a little bit more to go. I promised it would be a cornetto, so hopefully no one's falling asleep on me yet. Bit of an energizer bunny, so I've never had that feedback to date. But let's go on to the next slide. So these 2 questions, I would love everyone on the call. This directly links to resilience and directly links to how you're going to shine through these times, where I would love for you to look back and have you almost be grateful this all happened, because it's what was the pivotal point to get you on track in your life. And these are the questions that are going to have you do that. Tattoo it on your hand, tattoo it on your forehead. These questions will save your life, change your life, and be game changing. What do I want? How can I have it? Most of the population are focusing on what is the worst case scenario and how do I prevent it. Now, I'm not sticking my head in the sand. I don't go into the garden and go, there are no weeds, there are no weeds. I know there's weeds, and I know that there's a crisis happening at the moment, but I have a rule, which is 10% on the problem, 90% on the solution. The problem is there to just make peace with the worst case or make a plan for the worst case, spending 10% of the time there. Then you need to turn around, and 90% of your energy and resources needs to be on what do I want? What do I want that's positive? And how can I have it? So if you think of these 2 questions and use the negatives to kick your butt back on track to these questions, this is how you're going to get through this from a mindset point of view. Next one, which is the victim, the aggressor, and the creator. And this is really about relationships. Oh, that's coming up. Let me just freestyle this because I think I forgot to put the slide in. Apologies. So there's a couple of different mindsets that we're going to notice popping up in relationships at the moment. You may want to write these down in your manual. On the page that says Miranda Claire and how to improve your existing relationships or how to attract one if you're single. Now, when it comes to relationships and when it comes to the times we're in at the moment, the big common theme is fear. Now, with the fear, typically this will activate different mindsets or different patterns in people. Now, I want to clarify this is not who people are. It's just the pattern that they're running, and you can run new patterns. That's what we essentially are here to do, to help you with a whole bunch of new patterns. Now, when someone is feeling fear and they get scared, they go into flight as opposed to fight. And this is known as the victim mindset. The common theme of the victim mindset is poor me. Everything pretty much boils back to this common theme and this common scenario of poor me. You know, I can't step out of my house at the moment. Poor me. I'm single and I can't meet anyone. Poor me. I'm in a relationship and my partner is at home triggering me. Poor me. With the other mindset that we typically adopt, it's the aggressor. And this is another reaction to fear. This is when we get angry and we more go into the fight response rather than the flight. So we kind of get angry rather than getting scared. It's also a version of victim, but it's an angry victim rather than a retreating victim, like with the first one. So an aggressor will typically find a way to get angry at everything. Can't get let of the house. I'm pissed off. I'm stir crazy. I'm single. I'm angry that, you know, Tinder didn't work and I'm single and lonely and I'm pissed off. You know, you're in a relationship. I'm angry that the kids are leaving crap everywhere and trying to do webinars and I'm treading on Lego. That's getting angry. The final pattern that we jump into is the rescuer, which is I'm scared. I don't know what to do about it. My wounds are coming up and instead I'm going to go and help everyone else, which is kind of like being the wounded healer. Now, I love helping. We're on this call helping and serving you guys. The secret to living is giving, but that is different to rescuing. We are all on this call to help and serve you as light workers, as leaders, and to bring those attributes out in you. However, I guarantee you, I know firsthand, behind the scenes, we're working on our stuff. We are doing the work. We're not doing this from our wounds. We're doing it from our hearts, from a place of possibility, optimism, and results. And it's very, very important that we be aware of these patterns, the victim, the aggressor, and the rescuer, and we know that there's an alternative. Now, the alternative, please write this down, to those patterns, which only increase stress, they only suppress immunity, they only cause drama in your relationships. The solution is the creator mindset. And the way to be a creator, I've already given it away, guys. What do I want? How can I have it? It's adopting that mindset in your own life. What do I want? How can I have it? And if you're wanting to help others, it's empowering them with that. What do you want and how can you have it? That's empowering rather than rescuing. Now, I have so many more tools and techniques that I want to share with you. We're going to do our best to create some kind of mastermind so you can have access to us and so I don't hog the microphone right now. But I really sincerely am here to help you guys. Anything to do with resilience, relationships, mindset, and absolutely shining through this. For me, survival and thrival, that is like the bare ass minimum. I am here to personally shine through this and I want to bring as many people with me on that journey as possible. So love and light to all of you guys.